Hello there folks, SeKo Starcraft bringing you a game of Starbow. We got HaNfy, who I recognize, seen some HaNfy around, versus ieZaeL. Sure. ieZaeL, that's just what I'm going to call him, you're going to have to deal with that. So, Starbow, super cool, right? This was from a clan cup, some sort of cup specifically dedicated to Starbow. Some people are more experienced than others, and that's why some people who came from a pro or semi-pro background when it came to StarCraft 1 Broodwar are better than others, and I've watched some games from this tournament where the people actually didn't know what they're signing up for, and this is why this discussion, you played Broodwar, yep, these guys likely know the scoop here. You pro? You pro, man? IC Cup. A-level IC Cup, yes. See? For me, only fun map Broodwar. It's hilarious. I actually was watching an Axiom internal house tournament where the best people were playing a little bit of, well, I almost want to call it StarCraft 1, but Starbow. And you can see the people who are really, really good, you know, B-Team, Korean Pro, StarCraft 1 legends. I don't know if you can be a legend of B-Team. But really, really strong players going up against people that were obviously really strong in it as well. Fun maps is best. We can see there's a big difference in here. We got that hatchery was started on 11, and it just has to do with the amount of money you make on less workers. You got to really understand the macro mechanics of this game. Interested in maybe getting into it myself. We'll see if the peoples enjoy it. Gas about to finish up, barracks on the way, and more workers. Micro arena, lol. I wonder what kind of prizes for this. I'm actually very happy that some people are putting out some replays. This is still apparently in beta, but I'd be really excited to see if it does go into some form of, I'm not going to say professional, because I don't know if it'll ever get super professional, but semi-professional way where there's a little bit more tournaments. It's just a whole new kind of dynamic to StarCraft, and I like things to kind of shake it up once in a while. Zerg player will scout the Terran here pretty quick. Marines on the way. Should be starting his orbital. You see the amount of money saved up here. He's actually thrown out a factory. I thought he might be going for a command centre. Instead he will be getting himself out a reactor. Wall's finished. Hatch is about to be done. And pool is not too far off being done. Gas already taken on this side because he's going to want to get that Zergling speed metabolic boost started as soon as possible. Only one gas in these bases, of course. There's one Marine. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this in time. Some of the damage and range has been changed up for this game. It was a really interesting dynamic to watch in StarCraft 1, particularly in the early game Terran versus Protoss, where Protoss had the Dragoons, and you can get the Dragoon range, so it's essentially a race to be able to get out tanks and not get your tank sniped, or you just lose the game, and vice versa. Hydras, they go and crush the front of Protoss bases. Broodwar. Queen's on the way. Queen's a little bit different. They don't attack normally, but they still have their injects and creep spread. Scan goes down. Doesn't really reveal much other than the timing and that Zergling speed is on the way. We see there's enough for actually an inject and dropping down a creep tumor. Inject larva only cost 15 energy. Lair is down. More scans. You have cooldowns for SCVs, but there's a cooldown on it, so it's just as worthwhile to be able to get out a little bit of extra vision. We can see outcome of the vultures. Vultures super fun. They just killed stuff super bad. That's why we have a spine crawler down. I think they, how much damage they do in one shot again? 20 damage. So I believe they two-shot drones. Yep. As long as they shoot quick enough. So pretty good. He is going to just run by. And obviously two-shot all of these Zerglings. Queen should be using her Enrage. This vulture play is actually pretty bad. He's blocking the vultures right now on purpose. Does he know about his Enrage? He's not using it yet. Some of these players don't know all the different little tips and tricks just yet in this game. So, it doesn't surprise me that perhaps he would have not had that figured out. Speed is finished now, but we can already see that 12 workers already killed. There's the Queen on its overcharge. It does a lot more damage. It just only has a certain period of time. So that was very worthwhile in the end. 12 kills, units-wise, 10 workers to 21. Pretty big deal. The scan misses the Zerglings moving out right now. He is back to droning up at this point. More vultures are on the way. He's actually going to get in here. Wants to get the surround on the vultures. The vultures are the big damage dealers. He's just going to fight. Zerglings do pretty good against workers. Looks like he might get one more. And that's essentially evened it out. 17 workers to 13 now. Well, at least that means it's not a super short game. If he hadn't got that damage in, he was probably toast. So smart move there on ieZaeL to move across. More scans, move across and get that damage in. He does scout the spire now. It's a very important scout. Mutas are super good in this game. We do have down our armory, so that should allow him to move into Goliath production if he so wishes. More vultures coming back around again. There isn't much for units in the base right now to deal with this, so we may have to pull drones again. Lots of creep spread, allowing him to see a lot of stuff. We'll see if these vultures run by again. 5 now in total. There are a bunch of lings just popping right now. So what he'll want to do is make sure he tries to hold the vultures next to the spine crawler, which will do a lot more damage. He should use a bunch of his scans to clean out that creep. Is he going to go for it? He is. These vultures don't have a lot of hit points at all, so they do go down pretty fast. They just do a ton of damage. Wouldn't have minded to see him wait on sending out all those vultures and drop some mines first. You have to invest in the mine upgrade, but if you can get those down, they can just kill through so much stuff so quickly. And if you drop those in the mineral lines, for example, you at least know you're going to go down with a big kaboom. More Zerglings moving across. Only managed to get one worker for all those vultures. Goliath is out. Verse is ground. 12 damage. Versus air, 10 damage. 2 attacks though. This is high ground, so we can't actually see this overload up here. Missile turrets are on the way, but so are mutas. A big pile about to pop out. We can see they're not too worried about oversaturating here. Do need to get out a few more workers though, I'd say, and get this gas down. Oh, look at all this gas. Holy crap, I didn't even notice that. Oh, because they take more gas at a time, right. 8 gas per volley, but only out of 1 extractor. So mutas are on the way over. They say hello to the Ursidon. As I mentioned before, mutas kick ass. These things kill so much, so quickly. 9 damage a hit plus glaive striking. So essentially if you have 5 there, you are one-hitting units. You can get range. I believe they're called Charon Boosters or Charon Boosters. Yeah, Charon Boosters will give you range on your mutas. Mutas take a little bit more to micro though. They do stack up, which is nice for your micro, but obviously it means that you could just get rolled by wrong movements. There are no Thors in this version of the game. So he's trying to get his micro down a little bit stronger. They're having a little bit of trouble. Zerglings all out at the front, making sure nothing can run by. And at this point, I think he's starting to get some more missile turrets. He got tons of gas. It's just his minerals are so bad right now. Moving into the Lurker Den. Lurker is super good. What he wants to do is put down a contain and just punish the Terran player. We should be seeing a third base for the gas, I would think, out of the Zerg player soon. But he's got a huge bank of gas as well. Really big hits. And you see how much damage those glaive strikes do as well. That's not a ton of mutas either. That's just 6. We look at the worker kill count. It's up to 25 now for the Zerg player. Mutas. And he's not overcommitting into more mutas at this point either. He's just using that handful to put on some pressure. That one drone is in the wrong spot. It's kind of cute. Cleaning bot. Loses 1 muta, but managed to get another handful of workers with that. Is going to go for another base now. It's so crazy to see how much gas just explodes for these guys. Usually it was the other way around. Usually it was minerals that a lot of the times you would suffer for in the first StarCraft. Still doesn't have the charm boosters, but +1 will be finishing up here soon. Having these one missile turrets out in the middle of nowhere doesn't do you too much good, because the mutas will just fight those. StarCraft 2, a little bit more paper, they wouldn't really go in there and do that. But in this version of it, they are going to actually come out here and brawl with those. So you need to have them kind of clumped up to do lots of damage. A la Flash in StarCraft 1. Tanks are well, but tank mode's a long ways off. You have to research that independently. So there's a handful of Goliaths here, but there's going to be nothing to deal with these lurker shots. And you can't go out there and repair these. All of your workers will get ransacked. Doesn't do a ton of damage to buildings, but it's just that the Terran player can't punish this. More lurkers being morphed. Might actually supply block HaNfy here in a second. Tries to go for the scan. Will kick off one of the lurkers. Mutas get pushed back as well as the Lings, but he does keep the lurkers alive. The lurkers are the things he really wants to focus on. Now he's going back into more mutas. Tank mode's about to finish up. He will need to try and get a tank on the high ground, but he's got to worry it doesn't get sniped out by the mutalisks here. Next base is finished. You can see he's finally blown through a lot of his bank. And now he's up to quite a big mutaflux. 7 more on the way. See, it's a little bit more difficult to micro these things. They don't just kind of shoot and scoot as easy. You need to really practice it a lot more. Tank is finished up. Should have some scans ready. There we go. Loses one War Lurker. The other ones are not in range. Oh, yes it is. And he'll just move. Burrows so quickly, too. We'll just take on this stuff. That's so many mutas for StarCraft 1. That's just going to crush through everything down here. Goliaths do the best they can, but against all this, not necessarily going to do that good for him. One of his Goliaths is going to get a little bit too far forward and get sniped out. Doesn't quite get that tank. Might come back down in here and just try to do more economic damage. He's got a pretty big lead right now. So I think whatever damage he gets in, he's going to be quite happy with. A couple of mutas, a little stray there. Tank goes down. And this is pretty much it. He's camping the production facility. He's going to try to boost out more units. But at this point, that's essentially done. And HaNfy is going to have to GG out of this game. Fun game out of ieZaeL there. ieZaeL. Showed that power of these Broodwar-esque units. And how, as a Terran player, you really have to almost over-prepare to keep that alive. And going mech against Zerg was always really fun to watch, but not that easy for the Terran player. SeKo StarCraft, hope you guys like that, and we'll talk with you later.